and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope right here on Channels Television. I'm Anne Nwawadu. On Kaleidoscope today, we have a chat with the Group Chairman and CEO, Kerojet Services Limited, and pioneer founder, the Pillars Dream Living Foundation, Femi Balogun. We talk about the business and the company's corporate social responsibility initiatives. Once again, welcome to Kaleidoscope. Kerojet Services Limited is an indigenous company that delivers several aviation services, but let's tell you more. Established in 2016, Kerojet Services Limited is an indigenous company that provides services in the energy sector, transportation, aircraft handling, aviation fuel handling and supply, air cargo services, aviation depot construction, and LPG supply. The company also works with proven companies all over the country to achieve excellence in its operations while maintaining standards in teamwork, commitment, and trust. With a vision to be a global reference point in oil and gas marketing and services, renowned for adding value to its clients' businesses, and a mission to catalyze and transform the customer's organizational objective in accordance to achieving set target, Kerojet owns a fleet of over 150 jet fuel certified trucks and also provides into-plane services to oil companies that wish to outsource their in-house fueling operations. Kerojet Services Limited is determined to keep excelling as an indigenous brand that adds value to society. We now hear from the Group Chairman and CEO, Kerojet Services Limited, Femi Balogun.
Kerojet Services Limited has become Nigeria's indigenous name, maybe let's just say a prominent name in Nigeria's aviation sector, especially as a trusted supplier of Jet A1 fuel. Tell us that story. Share the story of that journey, how you were able to build this brand to what it is today.
Thank you very much. It has been a very long journey. Started way back since 2016. But I think my journey was a little bit easier because at least I started my career in the industry. I've worked with one of the major marketers in the industry for almost a decade before we decided to set up our own. Of course, the company, where some able men came together to form Kerojet Services, and we started as the middleman between the buyer and the seller in the simple English form. Then from there, we grew gradually. The career actually started from Kano. We started from Kano, then from Kano to Abuja, from Abuja to Lagos, and then currently now we're in 10 states in Nigeria. And then we are so lucky that we can fuel anywhere in the world. At least we do regular flights twice a week in Banjo, Gambia. We still fuel in Marrakesh yesterday. We are fueling in Bamako tomorrow and some other countries like that.
The aviation sector demands precision, reliability, and of course, constant innovation. What values and leadership strategies have you instilled in Kerojet to maintain those standards and of course propel the company's name?
Okay. Our industry is a very sensitive industry, like you know. There's no room for any error. Any slight error can trigger the whole country. So we've tried our best to maintain every standard required. We've employed capable hands. If our group HSC has been in the oil and gas space for almost about 3 decades. So he works in aviation. From aviation, he worked offshore. Then before we called him to come and join us. And then our chief chemist, our group chief chemist, has always been in the industry for over 3 decades as well. Has gone to several international training, IATA and co. So that has, at least their performance has been very helpful. And we make sure that we maintain a consistent refresher training for all our staffs. Sometimes we do it in-house. Most times we give it to a third party to come and train the staffs, and they have been really good. They have been doing very well in the industry.
As a business leader, you've recently made a major investment in community service, because for every organization that's serious, corporate social responsibility must be an important factor in that organization. So you did something by commissioning an ICT center for the NASFAT Young Wing. What drives your commitment to corporate social responsibility, and why the focus on technology and youth empowerment?
Okay, in business, it's not all about business growth. Community development is also something that is very, very key in every business, because the youth refuse to develop today will become the problem that will be in your business tomorrow. So that has given us the commitment to, see how we can do more to the youth through our CSR. So that's why we have some meeting with NASFAT, and then we say, okay, they should give us a space to build an ICT center, and understanding that the world is going at least digital. So we have decided to say, okay, let us invest more on the digital part, so that at least the best, what the world needs to focus on mostly now is to agriculture and then digital. So that's why we invested in the youth, and then let's see, maybe in the nearest future, whatever we can get from there, we can see how we can still help them more to grow in their own future space.
Okay, but as an individual or personally, do you have other CSR projects that you have done, or anything that you have done to add value to society or give back?
I think we've started our CSR project as way back, it's about 4 or 5 years now. We actually started because, like I told you, the business started from Kano. So we started with Kano. The remand home in Gorondute, Kano, we gave them a borehole. Like, they were having serious problem with water, so we give them a solar-powered borehole. Then there are a village in Jigawa, so like that, we did the same thing. Then about 2 years ago, we empowered some widows with grinding machines. Then in Lagos, it's rare, Lagos State, we gave them another borehole. Osun State, the same thing, food and co. Then during my birthday, which is on 7/7, we did the same thing in Ibaja, Lagos. So at least we empowered about 45 people with sewing machines, hair dryer, and co like that. So that's the most recent one we did.
Aviation fueling is critical to the sector's reliability, as we said earlier, but could you give us an overview of Kerojet's operations or your footprints in the sector, and how many fueling stations or locations do you operate nationwide? How also have you been able to support the aviation ecosystem in the country?
At least almost a decade. Will be 10 years by next year, and every big thing must definitely start small. Starting with Kano, we have Kano, then Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Kebbi, Jos, Sokoto, Jola, and Maiduguri, currently in Nigeria. And in the next few months, Katsina will come on board. Minna is likely to come on board. Then, like I said, everywhere in the world. So part of what have made us to stand out among every other players is we invested a lot of money in our staffs and our equipment. One thing that is mostly considerable in this industry is a fueler that will not delay the aircraft. You should understand that once an aircraft is delayed, it affects everybody, even including your own business as well. So that is why we invested a lot in our equipment, and that is why most of our customers, it's very hard for you to convince them not to use Kerojet, because of course they know we are very, very reliable. So, and we are so reliable to the extent that when they traveled out of the country for their routine C-check. So, of course, they're going to need the aviation fuel there. Instead of them sourcing for aviation fuel everywhere, we handle that responsibility and made it easier for them. Instead of them paying us in looking for dollar to pay the fueler, we accept naira here and then pay the fueler over there. So that has made it really consistent, made us to be very reliable, and that has been pushing us really well in the business.
All right, so looking into the future, maybe we should start talking about the future now. How do you see Kerojet expanding into maybe even within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and of course evolving in the next maybe 5 years?
Looking at the aviation industry itself, we are really discussing with some of our partners outside the country to consider the Sub-Saharan region, to move the company fully into the Sub-Saharan region, because at least one of our clients, at least is mostly they are considering to fly into Sub-Saharan region. So at least we don't want anybody to come in between us. So that is one of the key things we are trying to do. And then our minimum target is to cover at least 15 states in Nigeria, which at least currently we are in 10. And I've mentioned that in the next few months, we are going to have 2 more. So at least by the next 5 years, I believe that we will achieve this dream. If we can do what we have done in the space of just a decade, at least you can see it's a big deal. It's doable.
Technology is rapidly evolving, shaping the future. We talked about what ICT and the digital world that the world is going into now. How is Kerojet leveraging these new technologies internally in terms of doing your business and, of course, how you impact other people?
Okay. For us, there have been some challenges between the aviation fuel marketers and the airlines, which have to do with fuel accuracy. And we are working very hard to increase our level of transparency to our clients. So that is where technology comes in. We are trying to develop our own way of making sure that, okay, by the time we fuel your aircraft, immediately after you sign, before your aircraft take off, from your head office, they can have the details of the actual volume the aircraft collected, because it's a very big issue that gives every marketer a headache. We have not been able to trace where the problems are actually coming from. Is it from us? Is it from the miscalculation from the pilot or from the ground engineers and whatever? So with this, I believe it's going to assist in, it's going to give more transparency to the business. It's going to make us to be more reliable with our customer. Then, in our plan to diversify the business, we are looking at how we can help households in making life easier for them. Very soon, we are looking at how we can assist your cooking gas, your cylinder in the house. Okay, how can we make it easier for you as a salary earner to make sure that, okay, you don't have money, your gas just finished all of a sudden. How can we assist you to bring in, to fill in your cylinder and get paid at the end of the month? However, there are times that you'll be cooking, you just notice that the cylinder finished, the gas finished all of a sudden. So what we want to do is we are trying to digitalize that so that from the corridor of our office, we can monitor your cylinder. So as it's going down, you in person can also receive a message on your phone that, okay, your cylinder is going down. So from there, we can come in and then fill the gas. We won't ask, once we have the agreement, we don't need to ask you for money. By the end of the month, we'll take that out of your account. Now for the ICT, like I've said earlier, I believe that the government cannot provide job for everybody. there are so many young guys nowadays that have become billionaires in tech. Everything in life. There was a time I even heard that one of the major banks in Nigeria, the IT department, some of them just shut down and left the country, and then it becomes a problem for them. That's for you to know how important ICT is. So we believe that if we give this impact to the youth, of course, we never know which of them will even join us tomorrow. We don't do that for only the benefit of Kerojet services. It's for the benefit of the community and Nigeria at large. You understand? So let us see how they can even develop themselves and be better impactful to their family.
We're not done just yet. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. Let's continue the conversation now with the Group Chairman and CEO, Kerojet Services Limited, Femi Balogun.
Many young entrepreneurs aspire to enter the aviation sector. Some don't even know how to start. But barriers to the entry remain very high, and of course, other challenges. What advice would you give the next generation? And how is Kerojet also helping to lower those barriers through your philanthropic work and in your business also? So if there's someone watching you right now that just wants to know, how do I get into this? What would you have still?
Anyway, I believe some people gave us the platform for us to be where we are today, you know. So, and I believe in one thing, though people will say, no, you shouldn't have that belief. I believe that what belongs to you will never leave me. Yeah. So anything that I can do to support anybody to grow is never my problem, even if it is within my line of business, you know. And this question you asked me, I had a similar experience the last time I traveled. There was a guy that met me in the plane. I don't know how he got to know me anyway. He was talking to me. In fact, he wanted me to give him an appointment to come and discuss something like this because he wanted to do the business. But fine, it's a very sensitive industry. Very, very sensitive industry. You know, and the best way to come in and grow is to learn, because a single person's problem is everybody's problem. In fact, despite that, we have about 25 marketers in the industry. We cannot be friends. When we go to the field, we can't be friends, of course. But when it comes to safety, it becomes everybody's responsibility, because once there is a problem with one person, the whole industry will shut down, you know. So for anybody that wants to come in, my story would have been the best way for them to come in, which is I started my career as I've been a stock manager, I've been a quality control person, I've managed a facility, I've driven the truck we used to foiling the aircraft, so many things. I've done marketing. In fact, we started the business through marketing, because then one of my guys like that was facing a serious challenge in marketing, and I took the responsibility that I will market for you, but you have to give me the trust that your money, I won't take your money away, your money is safe. So, and that was how I started, and everything goes smoothly. But the problem with the youth of nowadays is they spend their expected income today. You know, if I have done that, I won't be telling you we're in 10 locations today. These equipment we use in foiling aircraft, we have about 20 already. So they need to really be committed to do it and be ready to start small. You know, don't be in a rush. Be focused. In everything you want to do in life, you need to be focused. Watch your expenditure. Watch how you spend money. So, yes, you can definitely drive a big car tomorrow, but not now. So, that's my advice for that.
Let's talk about sustainability and ethical leadership. What is Kerojet doing in terms of making sure your footprint is for the environment? I mean, most oil and gas sectors, we talk about their footprints on the environment. So as a responsible organization, what are you doing to reduce your footprint on the environment?
There are several ways you can have environmental issue, either in the facility you have here or at the foot of the aircraft. So, talking about the facility, it is important that every tanks you have, they have high-level cutoff or high-level alarm, or both. So, what does that do? Does is there is a safe work level in a 61,000 capacity tank. You should know that the safe work level will be about 60,000. Of course, you can forget. So let's say you have some volume inside, you've not calculated enough to, but that high level alarm or high level cutoff would trigger once it gets to that level. So for us, we make sure we have that to be in place. Then the equipment we use to fuel aircraft, it is also necessary that have high level cutoff. In fact, it's a standard in our industry. So it's not only about Kerojet, but it is a must. It's an IATA standard that you must have it. So we have that in place. Then at the foot of the aircraft, it is also necessary that you make sure that you have leakage free, and then we make sure that we have enough spill containment. We have spill containment in every of our equipment. However, in the facility, we have a separator pit where, in case of anything can fail, of course, they are all machine. In case there is any failure, once there is a spillage, it's going into the separator pit. It's about 3 stages. One will collect, one will separate water from the product. Then, after that, we now call the environmental specialist to come and check. Then, even this will definitely involve NMDPRA. Then, before we can dispose.
Kerojet recently partnered with organizations to drive brand growth and expand market presence. How important is strategic partnerships to you in terms of doing business?
Let me start that by saying that, I told you initially that we started as a broker. So some of the suppliers we have then, they became our partners in the business. So, and that has been very helpful to the extent that, before you can become, you can have a contract before you can fuel an aircraft, you must definitely have either on-the-spot agreement or prior agreement with the fueler, and that can be a problem when you need to fly into a location where your particular fueler is not present. Like I told you, we are in 10 locations, but we have over about 20 airports in Nigeria or more. You understand? So meaning we are not everywhere. So some of our clients, when they have to go into those locations where we are not, we use our strategic partners to supply them, and that has really helped our relationship. We don't see we don't see them as a competitor, but we see them as a collaborator. The same thing to what we do abroad. It may interest you to know that this year alone, we played a major role in the Hajj operation for this year, and one of our technical partner, our strategic partner outside the country, they have their own business. They need to do some fueling in Nigeria here. We fuel for them in Nigeria. They fuel for us in Saudi Arabia. It's been interesting to know that we did over 3 million liters in Saudi Arabia for this Hajj alone. So it's under the collaboration with the strategic partners. So that has been really, really helpful, actually.
Finally, as someone who has made a mark both in your business and philanthropy, what would you like your legacy to be? And of course, the legacy of Kerojet as a business.
Okay, for my own legacy, I say it everywhere. I have a lot of children. Just, you know what I mean by a lot of children. They may not be my own direct children, like the
Personal biological.
That may not be personal biological children. And I used to tell them one thing, that fine, God has blessed. He has blessed me. He has blessed us. He has blessed the company. But by the time it is time for me to leave this world, there are two things I wish to leave behind: my integrity and my commitment to giving back to community. That stands as my legacy. So, and for the legacy of Kerojet Services Limited, our focus is simple: the teamwork, the commitment, and the trust. So, every member of Kerojet Group, because at least I've given you some line of the new business we're coming up on, should maintain this core value: the teamwork, the commitment, and the trust to do the business. That's all. Of course, we pray to stay longer and still remain here for a long time, and then hoping to, by the time we meet again, of course, it's going to be in less than 5 years, but I believe that by that time, the business would have grown bigger than the 5 years target, because we have really done well in terms of market space. I used to categorize this industry into three. Those at the PLC level, then the next level are those very strong players, and the middle ones. Then the last one is those that are upcoming. You understand? So I don't want to say we are beyond developing, but everybody is still growing anyway. But still, we have surpassed the first level. We have surpassed the second level. Now competing with the top class, and God has been really good. So that has been my message to everyone, that okay, everybody can do it. Trust me, everybody can do it. Nobody is. It's just your commitment to achieving good things. So, and that's all.
And that's where we draw the cuttings on today's edition of Kaleidoscope. But it's never goodbye, because you can always watch past editions of the program. Go to youtube.com/channels web, click on playlist, or just type Kaleidoscope in the search box and enjoy your week with it. I'll definitely see you again very soon. I'm Anne Nwawodu. Thank you for watching.